So, as we're moving towards the table with all of the vegetables that will be going out into the garden soon, we have eggplant. This past week, I stumbled upon these eggplants in the greenhouse. I, for some reason, I did not notice that these were eggplants, but it clicked in my head and something told me, like, hey, you have eggplants for the students growing. So, yeah, we have eggplants. This little eggplant has a bunch of aphids on it. I did show students last week how to remove aphids. So, we did remove the aphids off of that eggplant. In total, I think we have about 5 eggplants. Moving over to this tray, I'm going to just do trays tray by tray and show you what we have in the garden. We have thyme right here. We have some zinnias. In a moment, I'm going to show you each variety. This is borage. We have at least 20 plants in total of borage. This is a dahlia mix. With the dahlia mix, it has I think it's doubled petals, so it's like almost a half globe shape type of flower, and it's gonna look so beautiful. I think it's a hot pink color too. This is dark opal basil, and these are a mix of tomatoes. I don't know what kind of varieties these are, so these are going to be like surprises once we are able to transplant them out into the garden. We have some dill, some sweet basil, more tomatoes. As you can see, I'm removing the smallest basil because the tomatoes are getting so tall that they're blocking out all of that sunlight that we want. And these are red cherry tomatoes. We have so many red cherry tomatoes. I think I gave too many seed packets at the start of this growing season back in um, like the end of January, the beginning of February. I think we did too many red cherry tomatoes, but I don't think you can ever have too many tomatoes. Look at how beautiful that variegated dark opal basil is. It That's the only dark opal basil that looks like that, and I'm so happy. Like it's so beautiful. More dill, more pretty and sweet peppers. I can't wait to harvest those. Those are gonna look so good. And then we have sweet banana peppers, which is actually a type of hot pepper. So I can't wait to taste test that during the summertime. Some Swiss chard and mustard greens. The Swiss chard looks awesome. It looks so good. We have again more tomatoes. These are um, these are going to be surprise varieties. We received some free tomato seeds in a jumbo pack of a multitude of seeds, and these were a mix of tomato seeds. So I don't know the variety of these. Again, these are going to be all surprises once they start producing fruit. More Swiss chard, again, more tomatoes. These are red cherries, 4th of July hybrids, and Brandywine tomatoes. Both the 4th of July hybrid and Brandywine are, I believe, beef steak types of tomatoes. And so we're going to really need to put these in the ground in the next few days because they need a longer time frame in order to produce their flowers and then to produce the fruit that we will once harvest. And this brandywine tomato, you can see how it's so related to potatoes since they are in the same family of nightshades because they have like a potato leaf. This potato looks so much different than all the other tomatoes, and it's so cool. We actually discussed that this past week with the students. We reviewed some of the families of plants that we've talked about previously. Here's some more sweet basil, but we previously discussed about brassicas and all of the vegetables that are in that family, like cauliflower, broccoli, kale, cabbage. And on the screen right here, we have more green beans. These are Kentucky Wonder green beans, and you can see how large these are. We actually planted these at the community garden this past weekend at our Earth Day community social. But back to the lesson that I was discussing, we also reviewed brassicas, like I said, and we discussed nightshades and how potatoes, tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers are in one family. And you can tell by looking at their leaves that they are very similar depending on the variety that you're growing. And we have more peppers. This is a mix of peppers. These are long, thin cayenne peppers. And I'm so sad that I did not get a chance to save seed from our, um, I think there some type of Japanese cayenne pepper that we grew last summer, and they were so prolific and they grew so much that I donated so many, but I did not have a chance to save seed, and so I think those were the Sentaka chili peppers. Hopefully, I can find them again and purchase some. But um, yeah, we topped off the peppers. In the next few weeks, they should be growing even more and bushing out. And I'm just rubbing the back of the leaves because we did previously have a little aphid situation start to happen where aphids were collecting on the leaves of the pepper plants. And so we did have to clean them up and remove those aphids. And what you could do to remove aphids is just wash them off with water or you can use neem oil. But we, in this case, we just use water. And I don't know the plant that I was just rubbing. I don't know what kind of plant that is, so I just wanted to let it grow and see what it was going to do. In that tray, we have mustard greens, tomatoes, and dill, and a mixture of other herbs. Here are some more climbing green beans and tomato plants that we have here. Just trying to show you all of the growth that is happening with these plants. I do have to continuously keep them watered for the students. Some reason the potting mix that we created with the soil, peat moss, perlite, and a little bit of compost, it tends to dry out faster than we can keep it like moistened, and I'm not really sure why I keep continues to dry out. Here's another eggplant with the issue of aphids that we did take care of. Eventually, these plants will be planted out into the garden in the next few days. Until then, I will continue hardening them off while the students prepare for finals. And then once their finals are over, we will plant these outside. Here are some more zinnias. These are the candy cane zinnias, which are like a, they're kind of like in the shape, or not shape, but the color pattern of, peppermint, like the red, white streak pattern. Those are really pretty. I grew them at home and they were so beautiful to look at. Here are a mixture of different plants. We have tomatoes, mustard greens, cucumber plant, cantaloupe plants that definitely need to be put out into the garden. More zinnias, more peppers, more tomatoes. I'm telling you, we have so many tomatoes. Calendula, borage. Um, what else? Basil, eggplant, like you see in the front, tomatoes, Swiss chard, mustard greens, and then here are our pots with more flowers and peppers that are growing. We have echinacea. This is my first time growing echinacea with the students. Hopefully it's successful. I don't know. And we have one tray of two varieties of eggplant, and we have okra growing. We have some patio choice yellow tomatoes. This is a bush determinate variety of tomato. In the next coming weeks, we will post a video here on our channel discussing the difference between determinate and indeterminate tomatoes and how you can understand the difference and how you can utilize those two different types of growing tomatoes in your garden. Here we have alyssum, which is a very attractive flowering plant for pollinators. So I'm so happy that we have been able to germinate those small seeds. We have chili peppers and bell peppers in that container. We have one very small cherry tomato in this container. This is more, these are more hot peppers. I believe the sweet, nope, those are the salsa blend tomatoes. So again, that was a pack donated to us to the program with a mixture of seeds. And so I think pepper in that container is shishito peppers, which are very tasty peppers. These are our California bell peppers, sunbright peppers. Those are orange bell pepper. These are our chamomile. So we finally were able to germinate our chamomile, and they're getting larger and larger by the day. And soon we will use some. I think I'll use a ballpoint. I'm sorry, a ballpoint pen since it has a small tip, or some type of like small tip point utensil to transplant those seedlings into their own separate container. We have parsley growing, which also needs to be transplanted into a larger container. and another tray of tomatoes, peppers, and zinnias growing together. And then our last tray full of tomatoes. So our garden here at the school is pretty much going to be mostly tomatoes. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Make sure that you subscribe, like this video, comment, because we have more videos coming this week. Until then, we will see you all later in the garden.